The following is a Joel Michalec production. The following episode of the Joel Michalec Show takes place between 8 p.m. and 9 p.m.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome to the Joel Michalec Show. I'm Joel Michalec, staring down at
Sharon.
the lovely Sharon. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
And happy birthday last week.
Oh, jeez.
Well, on the previous
Well, thank you.
and on the previous podcast that you could not make, I did wish you a happy birthday. So,
Aw.
nanny, boo boo.
Wow.
So,
All right. Well, then, happy birthday to me.
that's right. That's right. So, here's the big news besides it being the new year. It's 2019. Can you believe that? The big news is that this very show is the premiere show on 920 WON The Apple.
That is so awesome. I'm so excited.
We have attacked Brooklyn, New York.
Here we come, Brooklyn.
Now, here we are.
Well,
Literally,
yeah,
I mean, here we are.
Well, yeah. All right.
So, hello, Brooklyn. Hello, New York.
Hey.
Hello, the world.
Sup?
We're in the Big Apple.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited.
Yes.
Oh, my voice.
It's very exciting to be here, and we thank you for having us.
Sorry.
And we welcome you to the program. If you want to find out more, check out the history. We've been around for a little while. Stop on over to joelmichalec.com. And Sharon would want me to tell you, especially to the new listeners, it's spelled Michalec. joelmichalec.com.
Well, you always say just go to joelmichalec.com. And if I were not knowing how to spell your name, I'd be M-I-H.
And that's why for the first, I don't know, 15 podcasts, I was doing it. But I mean, you know, so I have to find a shtick to do it every time, I guess. Because I started to feel like I was pushing the issue and I stopped. And maybe I just need to find a way to develop a way that I can smoothly put it in when I give out all the information. Like it's joelmichalec.com, or you can find us at Facebook at JM Talk.
That's another place you can find us.
Or Twitter at WQIB Radio. Now, when you go to these other places, the interesting thing is they'll get you back to joelmichalec.com with a link.
Right?
So really, if you just go to the Facebook page and you want to visit the website, because that's where you can download and listen to the episodes. Also, you can hit the subscribe button, and you can subscribe using your favorite player. By the way, for anyone who has not heard, we're on iHeart. Our latest big milestone.
Yes.
We're on iHeartRadio.
We're very excited about that also.
Yes, it's very exciting. Very exciting. So, welcome, New York.
Welcome, New York.
I want to get into something real quick with you. It has to do with pickles.
Oh, my.
Yeah, I know. What a way to start. But, you know, there's been this, now you know, and I know it grosses you out, that I drink dill pickle brine.
That is the grossest thing I've ever seen.
Like, we'll finish a jar of pickles, and I'm like, don't throw that away!
Right?
Because,
and he does, people. He
because
really does.
I need to drink that. But there's a lot of good things about it. It has electrolytes and things like that, and it helps with muscle cramps.
Well, my muscle cramps anyway, because
you should. Well, no, you've been having some muscle cramps, and you should probably start sucking down. I got a gallon jar of liquid in there of brine.
Wow.
Mount Olive. It's a tasty one. It's not the best, but
well, then maybe we'll let the drain taste it.
No. So, that's what I like to do. And, you know, a couple years ago, it was revealed that they started putting pickle juice out standalone as a sports drink, as an exercise recovery drink, because of all the benefits of it. So,
ew.
That's what they're doing.
But they may be doing it, but that doesn't mean it's less gross.
Well, see, I'm still fine with it. I haven't tried it because, like, I know I like my Vlasic juice. I know I like my Mount Olive juice. So I don't know whose juice is in.
Wow. And
This
20
brand.
some odd years together, and I never really
I've always
realized that
drank
you
the
are
pickle juice.
a pickle juice connoisseur.
Well, I'm not
I never knew that.
anyway. So here's the thing. Now they've crossed the line as far as I'm concerned, because they have dill pickle ice cream. They've had fried dill pickles for some reason are becoming a big thing in restaurants. To me,
How about dill pickle chips?
yeah, well, they're okay. I've had them. They're nothing to write home about. It's not like I eat one of those chips and I'm thinking, wow, that's a good pickle. But here's the thing. And then, so the pickle ice cream is a little nerve-wracking. Pickle martini. You remember a couple years ago we were watching Guy Fieri, and he always makes a drink to go with the meal he just cooked, and he made a dill pickle martini. I thought if I drank martinis, which I don't, I thought that would be interesting. And then they came out with pickle pizza.
Stop.
And at first, now look, we talked about this. At first, I was grossed out at it, but because I'm thinking pickle pizza is going to have tomato sauce and then pickles, and that didn't make sense. But no, it's like a garlic sauce. And so I thought, okay, maybe this would work. I don't know if I would try it. Maybe it would work. But now, the other day, I saw frozen dill pickle popsicles.
What?
Now you've crossed the other line.
Wow.
I mean, and
wow,
and
that's just
it's
nasty.
A frozen popsicle, and you can see whole dill pickles in it. First of all, it's green, but then you can see actual dill pickles in it. So not only are you chomping down some icy flavored, pickle flavored icy, but then you're going to chomp into a dill pickle somewhere along the way.
Oh my God, you're nasty. I'm sorry.
The biggest problem with this is...
But it figures that you would find a dill pickle ice cream.
I didn't find it. I'm being blown away by the amount of recipes that are coming out with dill pickles. I mean, at some point, if they haven't already, they're going to ruin the art of the dill pickle.
Yeah. I like a slice of dill pickle with my sandwich or something like that, but... No, not to go as far as having ice cream or chips with as a dill pickle. No. Ew.
Well, wait a minute. What about dill pickle Jell-O?
Stop it.
Because
just stop it.
Jell-O.
No. I am cutting you off from the dill pickle, dude.
Well, I just think when I saw those frozen popsicles, like I said, that crossed the other line. I was almost thinking I'll try that pizza, and people really think that the fried pickles are really good.
They may be that may be someone's taste, but I don't like dill pickles that much.
And here's the thing: when I'm thinking of some of these different things that they make with them, I think to myself, not every dill pickle is created equal. Because all right, look, if you go to a certain place, you're like, these dill pickles really suck. Some of them are just like, they make you like, because they're just so sour about it. Like, a good kosher dill pickle maybe would make some of these recipes, but certainly not ice cream. Certainly not ice cream, and certainly not frozen icy pops.
No, yeah. I don't know what more to say. It's nasty.
Okay. All right. So the Facebook question of the week that's out there, which actually is going to switch over to the Twitter question of the week. But right now, if you go to Facebook at JM Talk, the question of the week out there is, what is your New Year's resolution? I mean, not to sound cliche, everyone says, what's your resolution? And do we even keep them? But I put it out there. We'll see if we get some responses. And, of course, they'll make it to the show.
Do people even make New Year's resolutions anymore?
Well, that's the thing that I hear a lot, especially this year. People are like, why even bother?
Because you don't keep them.
Right. Like, it would be
because January 1st, you've already broken it.
Well, here's the thing. For my resolution, which is obviously to lose weight because I've gotten fatter, and I know it's cliche to say I'm going to lose weight as a New Year's resolution. Here's the thing. I'm going to start my New Year February 1st. Like, January is like a trial month.
Yeah. Well, and then, if you got to do a 90-day trial then. If you're going to do January is the trial month, then you have to go with a 90-day trial, which brings you into
Well, then I might as well have
March.
6 months, same as cash.
Right?
And by that point, as you said, why even bother doing a resolution?
Right.
But I know it's cliche at this point, asking, because a lot of people don't even bother with them like they did way back when. But I put the question out there. It's probably why there's no responses yet. But if somebody wants to make a response, I'm just wondering, did you make one?
Yeah. And do you honestly plan on keeping it?
That's a good part, too, to that question. Okay, Amazon. Got to talk about Amazon.
Okay.
Because the holidays are over.
Mm-hmm.
And there were a lot of issues with people we know, and even we had a problem at work with their new logistics department at Amazon.
Okay.
Which ranges from anywhere from these Amazon drivers driving the little Amazon trucks,
right,
to now they're hiring, like Uber, they're hiring people that can just deliver Amazon packages with their own vehicle.
Right.
And
my question, though, is do they do any kind of a background check or, to see what kind of person you're entrusting these packages to?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
I'm sure
how that's
that they
done.
have the typical background check that every company does.
Right.
You know what I mean? But
your question, though,
there has to be some sort of extensive background check.
Right. You would think.
You would think.
And especially because, as you asked that question, the point I want to bring up is the fact of lost or damaged packages.
Right.
I know for us, we had a package at 2 attempted deliveries to a building that is a business and open all day, and told that it was closed. And then suddenly, after the second attempt, package is lost.
Yeah.
And then other people we know, packages been destroyed, packages missing.
Right.
And it's like, to me, it feels more like these drivers were putting together some Christmas packages for their own family and friends.
Right. Exactly. And see, that's what I would worry about, that my package or my customer's package is not going to make it to my customer.
Right.
Because you're hiring, any Joe Schmo with no reputation.
Right. And
to deliver your package, as opposed to using either UPS or your own trucking, company, whatever, to deliver the packages.
It used to all be UPS and FedEx.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, I get it. They're probably trying to cut money. They start their own logistics wing, but it's not working very well. I mean, the other night, our neighbor wanted us to grab a package if it showed up, and they told us UPS.
Right.
A sedan pulled up to the house, and some lady got out and chucked the package onto their porch and left. That's not UPS.
No.
That's obviously one of these private delivery people.
Right. And she just threw the package. What if the package was...
Tossed it, yeah. What if it was fragile?
Right.
Which is Italian.
Right.
But, so there's clearly... And it's made me not trust. Like, I don't fully trust Amazon delivering to me. I mean, I've had 2 problems at work, let alone the other stuff that we've heard and the things that we've experienced.
Right.
And I always want to put a special note in, please send by, a parcel carrier, not, your carrier. Like, if they want to handle...
If that's even an option. I don't think
it is either.
As a customer, have the right, air quotes, to tell a company how you want it shipped.
I recall hearing something about they were going to stop free delivery with Prime. And I wonder if they started their own logistics type stuff and hired these private people because it was a cheaper way for them to deliver, and they could still keep the free delivery. Because I'm sure people were going ballistic when they heard that they might call off the Prime free shipping.
I know I did.
Yeah, so it's not working, and it needs a lot of help for it to succeed. Right now, I don't think it's succeeding. And I think that this is something that's going to become just another complaint in the long list of complaints about Amazon as a whole.
Exactly.
So.
Exactly. So, I don't know. It has made me not wanting to order from Amazon
I know, and I have a lot of Amazon money. I actually have a lot of Amazon money right now. And
well,
I'm like,
maybe I'll go on Amazon just because I'm not spending my money.
but you may not get your order.
True.
They have that new option though with the lockers. I almost think to myself, well, if it's not a big package, just send it to a locker. I'll drive to the retail place and do it myself, you know? So, but...
Exactly.
Yeah. Amazon. There you go. We've been told we should go at Walmart online because they've merged with, they bought Jet.com, which is a huge retailer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so maybe that's the key.
Maybe.
I don't know. Later on the program, of course, we have a new Wombat of the Week, and because we are inviting and enjoying a new audience in New York on 920 WON, Wombat of the Week, we'll tell you what that's like when we introduce the Wombat. We'll tell you what it is, and we'll tell you how you can even get involved in that. We also have a new Honor Thy Hero this week.
That's awesome.
So, some awesome stuff going on later on. Now, when we come back from break, one of the things we'll talk about, I guess, is we're going to talk about PG&E out in California.
Oh, yeah.
Some really concerning matters with them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that'll come up after break. And then, other things to be determined.
Other things.
Yeah. And they have to stay tuned to find out.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
go refresh your drink.
Yeah, I'm going to go refresh mine. And when we come back on the other side of this quick 90 seconds or so, then we'll get into more. It's the Joel Michalec Show at joelmichalec.com. Facebook at JM Talk. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
So I use my computer every day. I'm not even sure how I get along without it. But I wasn't prepared for a virus. A Trojan, they called it. One night I'm cruising along, and the next night I can't do anything. I was afraid it was going to cost me a fortune. Boy, was I surprised. They had me back up and running the same day I called them. I really like PC Tech Rescue, and you know what? My wallet likes them too.
Are you troubled by computer problems? PC Tech Rescue should be your very next call. Whether the problem is viruses, hardware, software, or any other issue, they can diagnose your problem and have you back up and running fast. With more than 25 years of industry experience, you can be sure you are getting dependable and affordable service. Call today, 484-429-6061, or email us at pctechrescue@gmail.com.
Welcome back to the program. It's the Joel Michalec Show, joelmichalec.com, the website, Facebook at JM Talk, and over on Twitter at WQYB Radio. So the various places you can get a hold of us. Also, you can email the show at joelmichalecradio@gmail.com. So did I cover everything?
I think you did, yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, you did an okay job. I'm just teasing. You
So,
did a great job.
We wanted to explore this story that has come out. People know from listening to the podcast that, I recently honored all the first responders involved in the California wildfires. There were two major fires.
Yeah, the one is dubbed the Camp Fire.
Yeah, the Camp Fire.
Yeah.
So what we wanted to talk about right now, put a little bit of conversation on, is that Pacific Gas and Electric, also known as PG&E, could potentially face a range of criminal offenses if any of the wildfires that broke out as a result of the utility failing to properly operate and maintain power lines. This is per a brief filed in U.S. District Court on Friday by California Attorney General Xavier Becerra. So, PG&E, which provides electricity to about 16 million Californians, has been under scrutiny for how it maintains its infrastructure amid questions about what caused, as you said, in particular, the Camp Fire.
Right.
Which is the deadliest and most destructive wildfire in the state's history. I believe it took 85 lives besides all the property damage
Right.
and extensive damage beyond that. But so PG&E, PG&E's
Yeah.
just got this long history.
Back in the news again.
Yeah. Now,
I truly don't know how this company is still in operation.
yeah, and then of course when we were discussing this, you said, "Are they the only one in town?" I don't know that
Yeah.
to be true. It says that they service 16 million.
Right.
I imagine
well,
California has more than that.
yeah, but my question is, like, in our area, we only have one electric company we can go to. You know what I mean? So
No, we have options, but even if we took a different option, our carrier that we do have would still provide transmission.
right.
So I don't even know what you call that, but there are other companies that go into business to say, "Hey, we'll get you your electricity," because they'll buy it in bulk,
Right.
sell it to you maybe at a lesser rate for the actual electricity, but
The delivery system still remains on that one particular.
yeah, they still because it's all their lines underground. So
Right.
yeah, so they're still handling, they're still getting a piece of the pie.
Right.
You know.
So, going to PG&E, do those 16 million people or residents or whatever that they service, do those 16 million people have other options?
Yeah. Well, here's a little more. If you have not heard, this is really interesting. Of course, PG&E. Of course, years ago they were fined quite a bit of money for infrastructure problems, resulting in small fires and whatnot.
Yeah, 1.6 billion. That's
Yeah.
with a B, people.
Well, here's the amount of trouble they're in this time. According to the brief, potential charges range from minor misdemeanors related to clearing vegetation around power lines to misdemeanors or felonies if it started the fire, up to homicide offenses like implied malice, murder, and involuntary manslaughter. So, this time, this could actually, this could put the company under.
One can hope.
You would think $1.6 billion is a pretty heavy fine, and that's not the only fine. You can keep going back and
Right,
going back.
I know.
And then you have that
And
settlement.
then, what, 3 years later, 5 years later, something like that, after the $1.6 billion fine,
Right.
they had another fine of like 10 million or something like that.
Well, let me see. We have the file here. Let's see if we can pull that out of it. The checkered past. Yeah, so 2010, the pipeline explosion. That was the $1.6 billion fine. And then, of course, last year, they were put on 5 years probation and fined $3 million after being found guilty of multiple violations of the Natural Gas Pipeline Safety Act. So, investigators have determined that in 11 cases, the company violated codes regarding brush clearance or related violations and referred the matters to prosecutors. And now, in regards to those 11 cases, no charges have been filed. But then earlier this month, the California Public Utilities Commission claimed that PG&E failed to locate and mark natural gas pipelines in a timely manner and pressured workers to falsify data so the locating and marking work would not appear as late. When you're talking about falsifying records about natural gas pipeline markings,
Exactly.
that you didn't do, that's dangerous. That is willful misconduct in my mind.
Yeah, exactly. I think, and here's the other question. Say that the prosecutors are successful in getting these charges filed against this company. Who in this company pays for it? Who? The owner? The president?
Well, I'm sure.
Or the little peons that are the ones actually going out there to brush the,
it's going to hurt everybody. Now, you figure a company like this is probably run by a board.
Right.
So, obviously, it's going to hurt all the stakeholders in the company. But, if you end up with manslaughter or murder charges,
That's what I'm saying. Who physically gets these charges? Who in this company gets these charges
I have
filed
no idea.
against them?
I have no idea. You would think upper management,
You can't
maybe?
put an entire company in jail.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Not with prison overpopulation.
Right?
Plus, California is a sanctuary state, so they probably wouldn't be put them in jail there anyway. All right, no politics. So,
Right.
And if you go further back in history, these are the people responsible for. What was that case called?
I don't know. The
big
Aaron
one
Brockovich case.
Yeah, well, I mean, it wasn't the Aaron Brockovich.
I know it wasn't called that, but it's the case that
With the Chromium-6.
that the movie, was made popular by.
I feel like such an idiot right now. How many hundreds of times have we watched that movie?
I know.
And you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking of the one that they were, like, right before the credits, they were talking about the Kettleman one. And I'm thinking,
Yeah.
why do I know
Yeah.
that one, but I don't know the one that the other 2 hours of the movie focused on?
I know.
Hinkley,
Hinkley,
yes.
yes.
The Hinkley plant water disaster, yeah.
Yeah.
So, wow. And that was, I think, when did that take place? In the 90s?
I don't.
I think it was
I'm
the
not
90s.
going to presume to know.
And that stretched back, they found paperwork stretching back to the 60s.
Right. So
It's unbelievable to me that they're still in business.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said when I read this story. I was like, this is absolutely ridiculous.
Can you imagine if one of us Joe Schmoes just did? I mean, when you look at this is top scale. But think about it, if we did one little thing wrong on our job,
Oh, we're done.
boom,
Yeah.
and these people just get away with all this. Mm-hmm. They're on all these years probation, on probation for like 3 different incidents,
Right.
11 charges there. And now this latest thing. This is not the first time we heard that there was a possibility that they might be responsible for one of those wildfires.
Right.
I mean, can you imagine?
Exactly. It's ridiculous what these big companies get away with.
I can't imagine being held responsible if I threw a cigarette out and caused that wildfire that took 85 lives and all that damage. Can you imagine as an individual being responsible for that?
I couldn't imagine living with something like that.
But-
Living with the fact that something I did caused such a horrible,
Right.
horrible thing.
So this is still under investigation, so we can't say that they did do it, but there are some
Right.
circumstances. Like they said that there was a circumstance. There's something that happened like right before, like 15 minutes before the actual fire started, which is why they're looking at the possibility of that. In the blaze's aftermath, PG&E reported an outage on a transmission line in the area where the blaze began, about 15 minutes before it started. The company also reported finding power equipment and a downed power pole riddled with bullet holes and a downed line with tree branches on it. So
Wow.
I guess that's probably the speculation, but at this point it is speculation. But for when you look at their checkered past and now this, this is a company that I think if this is found out to be true, no matter who goes to jail, what the fines
Right.
are, I think when all is said and done, I think this company is told to fold up and go away. I mean, enough's enough.
Yeah.
How much damage and lives lost and problems can you have with one company over the span of now 40 or 50 years, 60 years, 70 years?
Right. Exactly. I don't understand how they can continuously get away with this stuff.
Right.
Just slap a fine on them. Yeah, they pay it. Whatever. Nothing really happens to this company
Yeah.
as a result of these issues that are going on.
And maybe this time something should.
Hopefully it does.
So, okay. So, we got to talk about this thing that's been popping up since before the new year. The gender thing.
Oh, yeah.
Or should I say the gender neutral thing. Before the new year, sometime during the holiday, I had read that California would start allowing for gender neutral birth certificates starting in January. And then today I read that New Jersey, the wonderful state that we escaped from, will start allowing for gender specific birth certificates February 1st.
Wow.
So even I had this debate last season on the show about, to me it's pretty simple. If you have a penis, you're a male. You check off M.
Exactly.
And if you have a JJ, then you check off F. Now, of course, there are people surfacing during the debate. I've been reading, for 2 days now, reading the debates online, and people are saying that, but there are other scientific factors about how a person feels. I got news for you. When someone is born, okay, you either have a penis or a vajayjay, and you're not thinking at the age of 1 day, you're not thinking that, gee, I feel more like a woman. You know what I mean? You don't have these thoughts. So it's very simple. You look under the blanket, and then you check the appropriate box.
Exactly.
I don't understand what the debate is. Somebody help me with this. Help me with this, Sharon. Please help me with this.
Oh my God! I wish I could explain the idiocy that these people are demonstrating. They're just, oh my God! Look, if you feel that you align more with one way or another, that's whatever. You know what I mean? But to go and, I don't know, the whole thing's just mind-boggling to me.
It is. Listen,
it really is.
If you're 20, you're 30, and you identify with the other sex, hey, get it cut off, get one glued on, whatever you got to do. Okay, but when you're just born, you don't have these thoughts. Prove to me that scientifically that you have those thoughts. Are we supposed to have a seance with the newborn baby? Are we supposed to get a psychic in with a crystal ball to find out what the baby thinks?
Well, yeah, but you're talking about getting birth certificates as
with non-gender
specifics, right? Okay. I mean, I was just here with all this conversation. I didn't mean to imply that you're just smacking me with it, but it's for people who, I don't know, for whatever reason, they determine that they need a piece of paper to show how they feel.
Okay, and I get that. I get that when you're old enough to make that decision.
Right.
But as a parent, how do you put non-gender specific on your child's birth certificate the day they're born?
Right.
I mean,
it's ridiculous, to be honest with you.
It's a little psychotic.
I don't think it should be allowed. I don't think, for an infant.
Yeah. And it is California and New Jersey. I don't know what to tell you about that. But
it can really mess with their heads. It really can growing up.
Yeah.
Oh, well, my birth certificate is non-gender specific. What?
Yeah, I
think it causes more problems than it solves.
And the gender thing, okay, like I said, it's been going for a long, long time now. People, adults who decide, I want to be a woman, I want to be a man, whatever, okay, that's your prerogative.
Right.
But this gender thing has gotten, the reach into the world of the child has gotten too big. You have we're not going to have gender-specific locker rooms in schools. You remember that crap 2 years ago?
Yeah.
That was bad enough because, that was enraging a lot of parents. How dare you say that your son can go into the same locker room and change and shower that my daughter's in?
Exactly.
And now, the birth thing, now what you're saying is you're going to decide for that child before they can. Or you're going to decide I'm going to put non-gender specific on the birth certificate and let them decide later?
Right.
You can change birth certificates later on.
Exactly. That's
for different circumstances.
That's my point.
If that's the case. But I just don't agree with this. And I think, it's pretty effed up. And
yeah,
I mean, really, if it has a willy, it's an M. Okay, With JJ, it's an F. That really should be the end of the debate. There should not be any other debate about it. You know, I'm sorry. If you as a parent with a newborn child are going to go with a non-gender specific birth certificate, then I'm very sorry to tell you this. You're an idiot. And you need help. And you shouldn't be having children. Because there's something seriously wrong with that. You're giving the child the wrong start. Yeah. Start in life with two strikes against you.
Right. Exactly.
And so maybe I should make that a Twitter poll for next week. You know what the thoughts, what people think. I mean, I just don't know. I mean, I would think I like to think, Sharon, that when we discuss things that we're using some common sense. And I know that you think I have no common sense.
No, you don't.
But I mean,
brilliant people don't have the capacity for common sense.
Well, I like to think that we're discussing this from a common sense point of view.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, in this certain aspect, you have some common sense.
Thank you.
Common sense.
I feel so vindicated now. I have a reason for being behind the microphone for the last 12 years. Thank you. But because it just takes common sense, I think. Yeah. And I'm sorry, I just don't think you're thinking straight. And this is the worst. This is really the worst of this whole. In the last couple of years, everything with this gender BS.
I think it's just getting out of hand.
Yeah. Well, how much further can it go? You've now affected the lives of a newborn.
Right.
How much farther can you go?
Right. Exactly. It's just, it really is getting out of hand. I
mean, I identify as a millionaire. Where's my money?
Right.
Can I change some paperwork and all of a sudden?
I identify as a millionaire's wife. Where's my diamonds?
Damn it. You know, I mean, you just can't change what you identify as and it works like that. Because if you could, then yeah. Well, what if we're all identified as millionaires? You know?
Well, we can identify as millionaires. It doesn't mean we are them.
Not unless you get into Congress. But that's a story for a different time.
Yeah, right?
So I'm going to put that out there for next week's Twitter question of the week.
Okay.
As I mentioned earlier, we're going to switch over to Twitter with the questions.
I'm excited to see what people think.
Yeah, well, they might think we're crazy and never come back and listen to the show.
Well,
I hope that's not the case.
Right? I was just going to say.
I mean, I like to feel like we're like, your normal everyday people talking about these things. Mm-hmm. Because I really think, I mean, who got that stuff passed? To me, I think it's got to be a minority of people, a very small number of people that got such a radical thing put in motion.
Right.
Across, two big states. I mean, California's a really big state. New Jersey's a pretty big state, bigger than, where we're at.
Right.
Siberia. But, Anyway. All right. So, we'll put that out there for next week's question. JoelMichalec.com. That's the website. But I'd rather you stop over on Facebook at JM Talk or Twitter at WQYB Radio. Now, when the show returns after this next quickie break, we have a new Wombat of the Week. And for the new listeners, we're going to explain what that is and how you can help me come up with them. And also, we're going to honor another hero. And that's all coming up on the other side of this. So stay right there.
Are you ready for some more Joel Michalec Show?
I better not. I have what doctors call a little bit of a weight problem.
I have the irrefutable proof that the Earth is not flat. Here it is. If the Earth was flat, don't you think cats would be on the edge of it, knocking off? A new episode every Sunday at JoelMichalec.com.
This message is for all of you sitting in the passenger seat. And apologies if it gets a little uncomfortable, but how does it feel to be at the mercy of someone who thinks a random text is more important than your life? Someone who takes their eyes off the road while speeding along in a 3-ton hunk of steel. Freaky, right? Well, why not just ask them to stop? Or better yet, volunteer to text for them. It might be a little awkward, but believe me, you'll live.
Learn more at StopTextStopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Broadcasting from a crummy little studio in Baltimore, Maryland. This is Reality One Radio.
You see why we need your donations?
Welcome back to the show, everybody. Thanks for being here. JoelMichalec.com, that's the website. JM Talk, that's the Facebook. And WQYB Radio is where you find us on Twitter. Welcome back. We got a couple things for you tonight on the what I call the home stretch. This is the home stretch of the podcast, which includes Wombat of the Week and also Honor Thy Heroes. So if you are a new listener and a new audience, especially up there in Brooklyn, this is how the Wombat of this is what the Wombat of the Week is and how you can participate. So the Wombat of the Week is it's stupid people doing stupid things. And of course we see this kind of stuff in the news all the time. And so call it what you will, but this is sort of like us honoring them or portraying them, putting them out in the open on the program. Honoring them. That's probably a silly way to put it, but you can join in on the fun by submitting your Wombat of the Week story to the show. Simply email the link to a news story of stupid people doing stupid things to wombat@joelmichalec.com. That's wombat@joelmichalec.com. Michalec is spelled Michalec. Or email joelmichalecradio@gmail.com. You can also submit your stories in a message on the Facebook page, which again is @JM Talk. So get me those stories, and then we go through the task of choosing each week. So that's how you can get involved in submitting the stories. Now, if you submit a story and it is not featured that week, that does not mean it will not be featured. It could, if it's good enough, it could go on the back burner and go into voting the following week. Or weeks, depending. It just depends. There are a lot of wombats out there. So some weeks have a lot to choose from. Now, I have sort of like a bonus wombat this week for you. And this isn't technically a Wombat of the Week because it's more or less like a public service announcement kind of thing. It's like, if we go back and look at, we talked about all the different challenges last year that were going on. The Tide Pod Challenge, the Packy Chip Challenge. All these weird challenges. All these dangerous challenges. That Kiki challenge or whatever, where you stepped out of a moving car and you danced, and look how stupid that was. Well, because of the new Netflix original movie, Bird Box, which is a post-apocalyptic movie, I've seen it. Without giving away spoilers, if you have not seen this movie, it doesn't suck. But it's not great either. I mean, it was enough to hold my interest, and I'll leave it at that because I don't want to give away any spoilers or anything. There were some interesting things that they could have done, maybe to make it a better movie, and it was too long because of some of those things they missed. But essentially, you've seen this. Really isn't a spoiler because you've seen the movie posters, you've probably seen trailers, you've seen stuff on social media. Obviously, people are in there walking around with blindfolds on for some reason or another. If you have not seen the movie, I don't want to ruin that for you. But the problem is people have taken this thing called the Bird Box Challenge, and what they're doing is they're video documenting them doing everyday things blindfolded, whether it be things around their house or walking down the street or doing something. And Netflix is warning, they're begging people now, please don't do this. It could cause hospitalization. I mean, that's the thing. Netflix doesn't want to be responsible for people that get hurt doing this. Tide didn't want to be responsible for people getting sick or dying from eating the Tide Pods. Kiki doesn't want to be responsible for people that get hit by cars. I mean, this is completely idiotic that you blindfold yourself on some sort of challenge because of a movie and start carrying out day-to-day tasks. Walking down a street. You do know, if you listen to my show enough, and if your head's not buried in the sand, then you know that the world is full of real crappy drivers. So you're going to blindfold yourself and go walking down the street, not knowing when someone who's texting behind a wheel is going to swirl out of control and maybe kill you? I mean, this is crazy stuff. I mean, why do people stoop so low to do these stupid things? You know? And it's like, this does qualify to be a wombat story, but I think it just by like an inch, it qualifies more to be just a sidebar thing, so I can let people know, don't do this. Stop with these stupid challenges. I mean, what are you doing? Who are you doing it for? What are you trying to prove? How about you prove that you have some common sense and you prove that you want to live? So I side with Netflix in this by saying, do not do the Bird Box Challenge. So there's that. Now we'll talk about the Wombat of the Week. And this may seem like a strange Wombat of the Week to you. Because I know, you're waiting to hear what kind of idiot is out there doing what now. But this is an interesting one. So bear with me. Because, last year, third quarter of 2018, the amount of subscribers to cable services dropped almost 4%. That's huge. They're cutting the cord. Okay? Because they have services like Netflix and Hulu or Amazon Prime or maybe a combination of all these different services. Plus there's free services out there where you can watch movies and live TV. And they're cutting the cords because they don't want to pay for the high price of cable television. Well, here's the thing. Comcast, Dish, and DirecTV plan to raise rates again this year in a move that could boost revenue but risks alienating subscribers who have been ditching traditional TV subscriptions in record numbers. I mean, here's the thing. The cable and satellite providers are hoping to squeeze more money from consumers who remain loyal to their packages with hundreds of channels. But the strategy could also accelerate what they're already seeing in declines. It's common for pay TV providers to raise prices in the new year. Okay? Because they're passing on the rising costs that they pay to carry networks like, CBS, ABC, local sports, like here in this region, Comcast Sportsnet, make sure we get our local teams. They're passing these costs on to you. And the thing is, yes, it's understandable, but it's bad timing and bad taste, and I think you have to look at it differently if you're the cable companies, because 4%, almost 4%, I think the actual number was like 3.7% of subscribers in quarter 4 last year cut their cord. Imagine the cord cutting that might go on in quarter 1 of 2019. I'm excited to see that. I'm excited to see what the cord cutting is going to look like. I myself wish that we could cut some cordage. We do subscribe to a lot of these services. Not a lot. I'm sorry. We have a good selection. We have a couple that we subscribe to. We subscribe to Amazon Prime, Hulu, Netflix, and then I have a couple of free services also on the smart TV or on my iPad that I watch frequently. And when you have all these, and I keep saying the same thing, like I'll keep telling Sharon the same thing. There's nothing ever on TV. There's nothing ever on TV. Now, I do need my local sports. So I'd have to, I'd really have to think about that one. But is it worth paying these high rates for that? I think not. But this move is a dingbat move. I mean, when you see the amount of people that ran away from their cable providers last year, and you start this new year out with raising fees, I don't think that's a very good move, which puts in the wombat seat Comcast, Dish, DirecTV, and any others who are raising their rates. As I understand it, at the time the story came out, AT&T was still investigating what they will do. So, and if you have an idea for me on how I would be able to see my local sports if I cut that cord, please drop me an email at the same email addresses. I'd like to know what you're doing. Did you cut the cord and you still have a way to see your local football, your local baseball, your big teams? That's what I need to know. That would greatly help me in that decision to cut the cord. So get me those stories. I would appreciate it. So, but yeah, raising rates. There's a challenge for you. How about the lower the cable rates challenge? And listen, I was actually following this news all the way about halfway through 2018. Because I'm always interested in what they're doing with the cable bills. And of course, I always fret when our 2-year contract comes up for our cable provider, which it just did. So it was just renegotiated. However, you get nervous at those times. And with the renegotiation, we did drop the bill a few dollars, but it could have been a few more. But I do see in the news, I've been following this, they are having a hell of a time negotiating with ABC and CBS and Disney. And, of course, the local sports package. Because I think every provider must have, I think it's like a law. They must have the local sports contract, carrier contract. So in this area, it's like Comcast Sportsnet. Every cable provider has to have them. So they pass those fees on to their subscribers. And as I understand it, all of these big conglomerates are really shoving big, the fees are getting bigger and bigger. In fact, exuberant. In fact, I know Disney's contract fees were so high that they're not getting any love from the providers. The providers are pushing back on Disney. And I forget what the amount was, but it was out of this world. I was like, I cannot even believe that they want that kind of money just to be carried. And if you don't carry Disney, you'll lose a lot of subscribers for that reason. There was probably a time when it was easy to be a provider. I don't think that's the case anymore. So anyway, moving on as we stretch it out. This next segment that we have each and every week on the show, which is also followed up with a post across social media, honoring the hero, is called Honor Thy Heroes. Hashtag Honor Thy Heroes. Oh, by the way, the hashtag for Wombat of the Week is hashtag Wombat of the Week or hashtag WOTW. But Honor Thy Heroes, that's where we find heroes to praise each and every week, whether it be police, fire, EMS, first responder, dispatchers, military, everyday people. We're going to start including everyday people. We're going to make that net bigger, recognizing people who do amazing things, heroic things for the love of their own community, or just for the love of humanity. And this week's is no different. An absolute hero, an Arkansas police officer who pulled a baby to safety during a highway pursuit and standoff. So, according to USA Today, Little Rock, Arkansas police officer Brittany Godfrey was able to save a baby girl from her armed father who allegedly fired shots at his girlfriend before leading police on a highway pursuit. The suspect, identified as 43-year-old Faris Deloney, was being pursued by police after being accused of kidnapping his 1-year-old daughter from a Walmart parking lot. In a video released by the Little Rock Police Department, Deloney's vehicle can be seen stopping after being jammed at a traffic light. 5 officers surrounded Deloney's vehicle, noting that he did have a gun. They pleaded for him to put the gun down and remove the baby from the car. Now, on the video, which I watched, on the video, Godfrey can be heard asking Deloney to take the baby out of the car. She was able to grab the baby from the passenger seat and move her away from the standoff, which a few minutes later had been de-escalated by the police, and they were able to get Deloney to surrender. So an extremely dangerous situation that Officer Godfrey was able to take care of the most important element. I mean, this situation could have been a lot worse. And she put herself in harm's way by getting that child out of the car. And that makes her a hero. Again, this is one of these situations I talk about all the time when I do the Honor Thy Heroes. These awesome people who make these split-second decisions to do these heroic deeds. You know, and any one of us can say, yeah, we do that, but we don't know if we would do that or not. I mean, I'd like to think I would, but we don't know. We don't know. And this is the kind of story we should hear all over the place. But we don't. We have to dig for these stories. This is why, this is what gave birth to Honor Thy Heroes. Because we shouldn't have to dig to find stories like this. These people should be praised. No matter where it happens, they should be praised nationally. And this week, Honor Thy Heroes honors Officer Brittany Godfrey from the Little Rock, Arkansas Police Department. Thank you for your service to the community, officer. Now, you can send your stories into joelmichalecradio@gmail.com of Everyday Heroes. Send me the stories, and we'll honor them. That's what I do. That's what we want to do here. So that pretty much wraps up this week's podcast. Remember, you can subscribe to the show by going to joelmichalec.com, click on the subscribe button, and pick the link to your favorite player. Also, if you're listening to the podcast through the website at joelmichalec.com, you can click in to read the show notes, or the episode notes, as it were, and the links will also be in there for all the different podcast players that we have at the moment, including all the big ones, iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio. They're all there. So, again, we want to welcome 920 WON, the Apple, your listeners. We're happy to be here with you. We're happy you're here with us. And check back. We are airing Sundays at 11 p.m. right here on 920 WON, the Apple. And I look forward to chatting with you again on our next show. Thank you very much. Have a great week, everybody, and be good to yourself.